Hello, everybody. It is I, Notion, joined by the wonderful Chizzy Fizzy, and we are here for the Solstice Esports Solstice Showdown. It's gonna be Cryptic Esports versus Dogs Noodles, and this is a very important match in the big scale of things because it is the first match of the losers bracket, meaning whoever fails tonight, whoever loses this intense matchup, will be sent home, sent packing. Chizzy.
Yes, first round of the losers bracket. If you've been following along with the Solstice Showdown, you would have seen the three prior ones. We have lost three brave souls so far in this tournament. So the loser here between Kryix and Dogs Noodles will be going home with nothing to show for it. So it's the 9 seed going up against the 16 seed. Obviously, Kryix sitting here as the favorites just based off of seeding as we look at their starting lineup here. Burns and Spike on the tank line, Azia and Raimazing at the damage duo, and Anian and Wolf on the support line.
Yeah, stellar team, absolutely. And on the opposition, we're going to see for Dogs Noodles, it's Ago Dago and Dark Side for the side of the tanks, Sturburn, Trev Stacks, Evo, and CSAC for the support line. And, the rankings that we talk about, they have some weight, but they don't always completely tell how the match is going to go. Both of these teams had the best of them taken away. They're both here in the losers bracket, so it's really going to come down to who's been trying harder, who's been preparing more for this match, because this is it. Like you said, a lot of these teams are dropping like flies. This competition is very quickly going from a very broad scope of a large pool of teams to a very thin stream.
It is, and we start getting down here. This is the last of the first set of losers bracket games. So now after this tomorrow and for the next few games, you're going to start seeing winners bracket games, and the losers of those are going to drop down and start playing some of these teams. As we take a look at the bracket here, what you're looking at right here is the winners bracket. This is the upper hand bracket. So you see almost all of the top seeds did advance. Dub Nation, the only one pulling an upset here, disbanded. The 10 seed did manage to make it to the quarterfinals, but that was due to a forfeit from the opposition from the 7 seed. Dub Nation 3-0'd their opposition, so they now face Nocturnal in the next round. But tomorrow will be the first of the winners bracket matchups in the quarterfinals, Region versus Cloak. Be sure stay tuned for that tomorrow as well. We hope that this game here today is going to be one that is amazing as well. And we're going to start off here on Oasis on Control, one of these fantastic control maps where you can see a lot of different compositions. I feel like I say that a lot. If you watch any of Eden and our streams, you hear me say that you can do anything on a control map, and that's really true. Oasis is somewhere where I think the support line actually comes into play a lot different, where you can do a lot of different things with your support line on this map. You can really run a combination of any healers on these maps that are obviously a main healer and a flex support, and be perfectly okay with running that. So I'm interested to see what these two teams decide to come out here on, hopefully looking for some far gameplay, as I love the explodey heroes, some of my favorites.
Yeah, so we all know that Chizzy is a big sucker for the boom boom heroes.
Yes.
But like you said, Oasis it brings a lot of diversity. We've got open concept and closed concept. Talking, of course, like University being very tight, narrow map versus City Center as well as Garden. But Garden is where we're going to be starting off, and Garden is an infamous map. It's infamous for always going the distance. You always see this map go 99 to 99. We've seen it in Overwatch League, we've seen it in contenders, amateur tournaments all around. The map is very hard to defend and quite easy to attack, so we see a lot of flips as these teams roll out, and once we're already seeing some big differences. Double shield from the side of Dogs Noodles, and on the side of Kryix, we've seen some dive.
Yeah, a different form of dive. This is the updated form of dive. A Sturburn trying to get the stun there onto Raimazing, but not within range, so wasn't able to get it. But like I said, the updated dive, instead of a Diva, Burns sitting on that Wrecking Ball, and they're running Azia in the sky. This is going to be tough for him to actually get anything done, though, with the Torbjorn turret to deal with, and the McCree from Sturban.
Oh, but it's a nice boof as Trev is going to go off the map. Nice boof there by Burns. Now, you know, Torb is great at this kind of anti-dive because he has the ability to stay alive. You know, Baptiste and Brig as well. But if you're able to take out these key players quickly, it's not going to be very hard. And look, they weren't able to set up on the point. The progress is already flipped to the side of Kryix. And with that, all this progress is just going for the side of our dive composition here as they continue to win this fight. And they're winning it at a nice pace, too.
And Amazing already has this Pulse Bomb online. Spike about to come online as well with this Primal Rage. I mean, they're about to have 4 ultimates, Burns and Azia, very close behind. And if you look at on the side of Dogs Noodles, the tanks are nowhere near their ultimates right now. This is going to be a tough push here for Dogs Noodles. Kryix has everything at their disposal to use whenever they want to use it. Wolf might engage here with Rally. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. CSAC does have the Amplification Matrix, though, to pump in some extra healing if needed.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb is going to force out the Ant Matrix there from CSAC. Sorry, the Immortality field. He has the Ant Matrix up. He was building it very quickly, as we see Baptiste often do. Here it is. High Noon from Sturban is comboed up as the Minefield goes in to try and counteract this push. Does find a pick onto Trev stacks, though. That's going to be a nice opening here for our dive composition, as we see the Stick Your Grenades there from Azia take down another. And with this nice coordination of the dive, it's really been incredibly easy for the side of Kryix. And I think the key thing to note here is the presence of Wolf on the Brigida. You know, when you go in for the dive, all your heroes are very vulnerable to the CC, to the stun, if not kept alive with good burst or a healing. And just having that Brig to be able to hold the front line and kind of absorb that frontline presence, really act as that third tank, just makes it so much easier for people like Echo and Tracer to be as aggressive as they need to be as we watch them go into this next push. Duplicate is online here for Azia.
We're in final fight territory, and the tanks from Dogs and Noodles have not built up their ultimates yet. Darkseid just about to have Gravitic Flux online, so going to use that potentially. Azia onto the Orisa now, has the supercharger. This is not looking good for Dogs and Noodles. They don't have anything to counteract this extra damage being pumped in. The Torb, though, throws out Molten Core, but Neon holding on to that Transcendence, able to use that. Darkseid pops the Gravitic Flux, but no one is caught in it. Agodago is down. Advantage given to Kryix, but Wolf falls immediately. Back and forth on the fight. CSAC dead. It's a back and forth fight right now. One tank down, one support down. Both supports now down for Dogs Noodles. Darkseid also falls, and that's going to be 100-0 in favor of Kryix.
Yeah, and you know, even though that last fight looked like it had potential for the side of Dogs and Noodles, when you're playing such a slow composition like they were, you're not going to be able to get back in time. You're sacrificing that ult charge. We saw that every time Dogs and Noodles looked like they were in a position to start pressing their ultimate keys, and they seemed like they had the ultimate economy in their favor, a nice placed Minefield from Burns was going to be able to disrupt them, not give them the chance. They kept going through that tiny choke, which was basically just heaven for a Wrecking Ball who's got his ultimate online. You know, we see a lot of teams try and make Double Shield work because Double Shield is, you know, really poked its head out as being the stable meta composition, as it's so good at mitigating damage, but you can only mitigate so much damage, and you can't do anything against the Wrecking Ball roll, can't do anything against the Brigida or the Winston. So that's why I love that comp into this. But here we're seeing something a little bit more matched. Ryan v Ryan here as we head on to University.
Love the Ryan matchups. Burns on the Sigma, Darkseid choosing the Zarya. So there's a little bit more of a passive play in terms of what Kryix might be trying to do, and Dogs Noodles looking to get aggressive here with those Zarya bubbles that Agodago swing, but walled off. A beautiful job. Spike gets the charge.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, the optimal Ryan play would just be to hold your shield and let your team do the work, but, you know, he gets a little too aggressive and is going to be taken out by his counterpart, Sturban, on the Reaper. This actually allows the side of Dogs Noodles to take the first cap. They invest the Moira Coalescence as well to just put the final nail in the coffin here, but this is definitely a respectable cap for them. But just I say that, Ryan Amazing finds a nice flick onto Evo. That's going to be a big opener here if they're able to regroup themselves. You see that the shield is now back again for Agodago, but they're looking to try and aggress. Here's the Amp Matrix combo with the High Noon. They're all into the corner now, and that's a nice double kill from Ryan Amazing. Definitely living up to his name now, but he will take taken out by Trev stacks in the back. This fight could still go either way, though, Chizzy.
It's back and forth. Spike falling extremely low. Great immortality field to help keep him up right there. I mean, in reality, they should be winning this, but Sturburn comes in with a double Death Blossom. He falls immediately after. It's traded out. It's a fairly even fight right now. Trev Stacks is deathly low. Uses the Meteor Strike to get back up, build up some shields, and he immediately falls, but it doesn't matter. It's such a trickled fight. Kryix got picks, but at the same time, they were down in those fights to where they couldn't capitalize on any of the picks they were getting. Not a very clean fight there for Kryix, but good news, you have Blizzard, which is one of the most impactful ultimates in this game. There's a moment where Evo doesn't have Sound Barrier. You could use it.
Yeah, here you see the Shatter and the Blizzard come out. The Spike will get very low.
Huge grab
comes out from Darkside. They have the Immortality Field up for now. It will be brought down. It's a good beat, though, by Evo to keep his team alive. Coalescence as well. You can see it's going to find two. Amazing does find one of his own. There's a nice accretion onto the Reinhardt player by Burns, but it's not going to be enough. You see the damage and the tank presence is so good. Having that Zarya to enable your Reinhardt, it's really been showing through. Agodago's just been able to be so much more aggressive, having those Zarya bubbles, barriers to just get that little bit extra out of it. You see they have the same DPS line, but TrevStax and Serburn having that defender's advantage of just finding all the value they need. Here's Agodago, he's trying to get aggressive. He finds himself in an awkward position, looks to pin back, is going to find the Sigma player on the way, but is taken down before he can connect. And with that being said, Azia, he finds another one onto the enemy Doomfist. It's just the last few players here from the side of Dogs Noodles to try and stall this out, but this fight's already turned, and it's looked like Kryix is back in it.
They didn't have to invest anything into that fight to win that. So that's a huge win there. Dogs Noodles going to come back here. Both DPS ultimates online. CSAC very close to another coalescence. We could see a little Space Jam action here with Darkside using his Graviton Surge when he gets it online about 20% of the way there. TrevStax has that Meteor Strike. You could see a classic combo right there, but a Shatter out from Spike. A great punch, though, to stop him from pushing forward. Great job from TrevStax.
Yeah, but just as that happens, Amazing, he finds a nice 2K of his own in the back. Gravitic Flux is going to catch Trev out when he lands. It's a really nice read there by Burns. He's going to be tossed around a little bit, tries to find the accretion, but the projected barrier is there. 40% and counting now for Kryix as they continue to make this fight work for them. And they're using their ults defensively. They're not being too proactive, and sometimes that can be a disadvantage because you always want to be the one making the first move. But they're not making too many positional mistakes, and they're not being punished for it. Now it's all on Darkside. We're watching along here. He's got the Graviton Surge. His last one was huge. It was a big 6K. If he can make that happen again, Wolf has the beat, but it's got to be perfect. Here it is. The timing looks good. The shields are in. Death Blossom comes out. Isn't going to find anything right now, but TrevStax does find one onto Burns. More people are falling now from the side of Kryix. Here's the desperation. Meteor Strike in the back. You see from Azia, he's the last one on for his team now, as the point is going to be flipping back over. Overtime Wick burning down. You got to see some stalls. Burns is on the wrecking ball and needs to make that touch happen.
Not going to happen. Not when a Doomfist is sitting directly in front of your face. TrevStax, a great job there on that Doomfist. Dogs Noodles looking like a completely different team in that round. Again, I don't know if they're just more comfortable in a Ryan Zarya setup, or that's what they felt more comfortable with practicing specifically on University there. I'm sitting here confused why they didn't run it on Gardens. Maybe they weren't comfortable running it on Gardens, but man, they look dominant right there. TrevStax looked very comfortable on that Doomfist, and then the Reaper play as well. I mean, I feel like that was an all-around better matchup for Dogs Noodles, so I hope they come out here with a Ryan Zarya once more, or at least at minimum just run a Reinhardt, because that's what seemed to work for them. And it looks like they're going to be running a Rein Diva, which I am okay with.
Yeah, you know, something that often gets overlooked, people talk about Sigma and how he's kind of the perfect off-tank and is usually always played over, you see, the Diva or the Zarya, but Zarya counters Sigma in so many ways. You know, he can't connect grasp you, and if you have a good Zarya player that's really in her stride, Sigma just falls apart. We're going to watch this next fight. This is the last map here. Go through as Wolf finds himself a nice one. Amazing as well. And with Amazing on the Tracer, unstopped right now. Nothing to counteract him in the backline, roaming free. Looks like this point is going to flip over to Kryix. They've been the team that's, I said, has the strength edge, you know, coming with the placements, number 9 against the number 16. But, you know, like we see in Solstice, anything can happen. In our last match we cast, it was, I believe, seat number 2 against seat number 15, and they still were showing a lot of strength, able to take at least a round on control. We're watching TrevStax is going to find a nice hack onto Burns' Wrecking Ball. That's going to be a lot of ult charge here for the Sombra player. Is going to be able to find a 70% off of that, and Burns has got to really rethink his positioning if he's not going to be punished out from that. This EMP, like we talked about, is one of the best ultimates, can win a fight alone on the back of it here, as he's going to be caught out a little bit by the Winston, but he has the warp, he's going to be completely fine. Now we see Amazing is going to open this fight with a nice ball spawn.
Ryan Mazing on this Tracer has been fantastic, and now, like you see, 4 kills already, make that 5. Full team wipe. That was a great opening pick from TrevStacks to get rid of Burns on that Wrecking Ball, and I just felt like they kind of stalled. They didn't really capitalize on that. A Wrecking Ball's worst nightmare is not a stun, it's a Sombra, because at least out of a stun, you can grapple away from it afterwards. Sombra, you ain't going anywhere. So the fact that TrevStacks was able to knock out Burns immediately out of that fight, they just didn't capitalize on it. I don't know, I was a little confused. They do have the EMP now, and they don't have a Transcendence on the side of Kryix to counteract it. If he can catch Wolf out and Anian, that'll be huge.
Yeah, the EMP is going to come out. It's going to cancel all the Wrecking Ball's mines. So as he Wolf finds a nice one on the TrevStacks here. And Ryan Mazing, he's absolutely just going off on the Tracer. You know, we were plotting him a little bit earlier in the series, and I think a lot has to do with the composition too. You know, you talk about dive, and we see how Wrecking Ball Winston is kind of the new dive we're seeing until D.Va maybe sees her buffs that she is
Big
getting
kill
on the experimental right now. Yeah, Ryan Mazing, he's going to extend just a little bit here. It shouldn't be too big of a blemish if he's able to get back. But when you have the Tracer and the Echo, you have damage coming from the front, from the up above you. It's so hard to play against this, especially when you don't have too many stuns. We're watching with Sturber now. He's got the high noon. He's looking to find the damage on the spike. Will be finished off by his Wrecking Ball player there as Wolf drops off the high ground. Trance has been invested by Anuyan, but this is the last fight. He needs to make something happen. He's missing his shots here. Ryan Mazing is able to get the best of him for right now. He cannot afford to let him get the better of him. This is going to be the penultimate fight here as Azia will find one onto Dark Side, trying to find something on to the Zan. Finds the final pick with the flashbang though, and with that 2 more have fallen, and somehow from the side of Dogs Noodles they're maybe able to recover here. But just as I say that, they got off the point. We were watching along with the McCree player there, and we were oblivious to the fact that the rest of the tanks had already fallen apart on the point, and he was the last man.
Come on. Really? Oh.
It's disappointing.
If that is not the definition of a C9, you won that fight. You were ticking up to take the point and flip it back in your favor, and you get off of the point. Oh, that hurts. Now, it's not like if they flipped it, they were 99-99. It was still a long way to go for Dogs Noodles. But, ooh.
Yeah, it would have been a mountain to climb either way, but they had their first foot on the rock there, and it just kind of fell away from them then, didn't it? But, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the compositional choices. You know, like we saw them attempt the dive, but the Sombra was there, and they kept trying to make that work. And or sorry, no, it was the Kryix. They went with the Wrecking Ball, and then Dogs Noodle tried to counter with the Sombra, but they weren't even able to make it happen. And a lot of that has to do with good spy checking, making sure that the Sombra was being punished. But I don't know, it looked like it was going to be more even, because when we were watching along with the Sombra, they were getting lots of value, getting high value hacks. It just looks like the rest of the team maybe fell through. You know, we were watching along with the McCree player there from the side of Dogs Noodles towards the final fight, and it looked like the pressure was sort of getting to him. It wasn't able to land those crucial picks. He got the Zenyatta low, got the Tracer low multiple times. His healers were doing a best job to keep him alive, but you know, maybe that's when you try opting for a hero more like Mei, where you have that slowing down ability to take down these mobile characters and take away the thing that's the strongest about them, which of course is that advanced mobility. I don't know. It's quite disappointing from the side of Dogs Noodles, but it's just the first map. This series could go anyway.
I think you go back to that Sombra play. Something that was interesting, and if you look back on it, is Sombra's normally played within a dive composition to where she goes into the backline with an EMP, communicates with her team, hey, 3, 2, 1, EMP, and then you normally have a Wrecking Ball, a D.Va, or a Winston to dive onto those hacked targets. The issue is they didn't have anybody to dive onto those targets.
There was no mobility, so even when they were hacked, they couldn't capitalize in time, and we saw Kryix. They were able to use the geometry of the map to negate a lot of the impression of that EMP every time it came out.
It was just the Sombra who was going to have to take care of the hacked targets. And, you know, a hacked target is good, and you can go one-on-one against a Sombra. And, you know, there was a Zenyatta on the opposition for Kryix, and the thing that confused me is the first EMP that came out was a dual EMP and it only hit both tanks. It negated all of the mines used, but it only hit both tanks, where I found it interesting to the point where TrevStacks wasn't looking to potentially go for the Zenyatta. Maybe he knew and was tracking ults to where he knew the Zenyatta didn't have ultimate, so it didn't really matter. But, you know, if you EMP a Zenyatta, he goes from 200 health to 50 health because 150 of his health pool is shield. So with that in mind, I feel like, you know, you get an easy pickoff on the Zenyatta, and, you know, hey, maybe you only hack 2 targets, maybe they're both supports, but man, I don't know. I just feel that's all out of whack. I think the biggest thing was they won the fight and they didn't stay on the point. And I think overall in that entire series of City Center, I think it kind of showed maybe with some communication differences to where, like we said, on that EMP, it's just, I feel like that was a reactive EMP and not a setup EMP. That was more of a, let me kill these mines and let my team push in. But, you know, that's not really the best use of that ultimate sometimes.
And mines are really not that threatening unless they're comboed with the pile driver. When he just lays them out, it's more of just kind of putting some like traffic cones in your way. You know, they don't take that long to break through. And you know, you talked about how the only people they EMP'd are the tanks. And although tanks really rely on their abilities in order to get value, and an EMP, any kind of hack on a tank as a tank player is absolutely hell to go through. You do still have a lot of health, so if you are able to be, you know, paid attention to by your healers, there's a good chance that you'll be able to live through it, especially if the focus isn't there. And, you know, talking about the tank lineup from the side of Dogs Noodles, what were they running? They had a Sigma and an Orisa on that last map, I believe.
It was a Sigma and an Orisa on Gardens, which was the round 1 of Oasis. I believe they were running a Reinhardt Diva, if my mind serves me correctly.
Diva. I don't know if they stayed on the whole time, but you know, we saw Reinhardt Diva have a lot of strength back when Diva was feeling really, really good. Of course, she's had so many balance changes in the last few months here. She's a little bit weaker than we'd love her to be. That's why we're seeing a few buffs, I believe, on the experimental card for her right now. But you know, Diva's one of those heroes that if she has help, she's so good at being aggressive. But because she's kind of lacking that now with, you know, her boosters being increased a little bit, and it's very hard for a Diva player to do anything on her own. She has to use everything that she has in her tank to get somebody low, and even then, it's very difficult because as you fly, you knock people further away. If you're trying to get a solo kill or do something like that, you almost always want to go with the Wrecking Ball, so I guess they just don't have a comfortable Wrecking Ball player to work with. I feel like having that pile drive would have synergized with the hacks much better, but they're going to try it again. They've got this Diva pick again, so they got to make sure people are prepared to follow up TrevStacks. He's on the Tracer now. That's going to aid Darksided if he goes for a dive a little bit more. CSAC, he's on the Ana. Evo is on the Brigida. So we're looking at similar support lines, but it's going to be so much pressure here on Sturburn to take down the Echo in the sky, and I feel like that's been the thing that hasn't been connecting for the side of Dogs Noodles, is putting all that pressure on just one DPS player in Sturburn, because if Sturburn goes down, what do you have to deal with the Echo? Maybe the Diva? Diva, she can assist, but Echo's mobility is just unparalleled.
Well, good news is TrevStacks already gets 1 and Sturban gets a Zia, so that's 2 already out of the fight. Rymazing's on the Genji, question mark? I love it, honestly. He's already 53% to a Blade, which is lightning quick right now. If you're a Genji, over past 61, but it doesn't matter because the fight is not going in his team's favor. Dogs Noodles just, I mean, simply just rolled through that first part of Rialto, and now Kryix, if they do choose to contest, which they most likely will with the dive comp here, it's going to be right before point A. So this is going to be tough for them to try and hold off here with just a Winston and a Wrecking Ball going up against a nano-boosted Reinhardt.
He was so close to the Primal Rage, too. If the nano had maybe not come through, maybe he would have had a chance to get it. He's got the Shatter here. If he can find the connection, he's looking to back up. Here it is. Nice setup. Baited them onto the point by giving him just a little bit of space. It's just the Wrecking Ball now. His shields have been used. Nice anti-nade onto him as well by CSAC, and the payload is moving cleanly. That's 5 minutes. High Noon coming out. It looks probably just to reload. And what I love about this comp is that the Brigitte allows Tracer to just be as aggressive as possible, and Trevstack, his positioning has been good. He's constantly been pressing the attack, getting them to pay attention to him, and that makes it so much easier for Sturban to find the picks. There's another one able to shut down this echo for the second time before the fight breaks out. So his team has obviously been speaking to him saying, hey, listen, you're the guy for the job. If you can't connect onto this echo and make that your #1 priority, we're gonna have a hard time. And he's been on top of it. With that said, a pulse bomb is deflected by Ryan Amazing onto Trevstacks, just as we were talking about, looking to see the Genji. Nanoblade is probably going to come out this fight as well. If they are not going to hold it, but it looks like they might not even need to, because it looks like the side of Dogs Noodles respect the backup. But just as we say that, Ryan Amazing is going to fall off the map. You saw the Reinhardt player, Agadago, got the kill credit, but that was mostly just a misplay by Ryan Amazing. But we've got a Nanoblade to look forward to in this next fight. Nothing to counteract it from the side of Dogs Noodles except for maybe a shield bash.
Shield bash, you have Sturban stunned, but I mean that's asking a lot out of your player. Nanoblade into the back right now, deflects, stunned, able to get the McCree out of the fight quick, and the Brigitte, there's 2 stuns that you don't have to worry about anymore. Beautiful setup, beautiful team fight win there for Kryix. I mean, if you're Genji and you can take out a McCree and a Brigitte, and those are really the only things there to stop you, unless CSAC has an ungodly sleep dart. That was a great blade there. A fantastic job from Anian and Ryan Amazing. It was worth the wait. Still, though, 3.5 minutes here for Dogs Noodles. Plenty of time to push this to point B.
Boop as well, and that play was set up entirely by a nice sleep from the side of Anian. You saw he slept the McCree in the back. The Wrecking Ball from Burns was able to follow up with the Zia sticky grenades, and that whole fight dissolved before they were even able to get across the bridge, all in the back of a big long-range sleep. You usually don't see much happen with those unless you have a Widowmaker, but this dive team's communication has been there, and their positioning is so proactive. You see Burns, he's playing up aggressively close. You see the Winston Spike, he's on the right-hand side of your screen right now, pushed up. They do not even want to give him a chance to cross this bridge, and they want to be able to aggress on them from all angles when they're crossing it, because when they're crossing it is when they're the most vulnerable, especially looking at Evo. He can't do anything when he's in the center of that bridge.
Wolf pops the rally. That's exactly why you hold up close. You pop the rally, let your tanks go to town. CSAC booped off a beautiful whip shot there from Wolf, and now Spike using the primal rage across that bridge. Not able to get any boost, but Wolf finds 2. This Brigitte so powerful going up against a brawly type comp, a short range type comp, like with a Reinhardt and a Diva. So fantastic job. Dogs Noodles now down to just 2 minutes, and there's another blade online for Kryix.
You know, as much as they have all these ultimates to work with, I just don't see the Diva finding a lot of value in this composition. You know, as awkward as it might be, I feel like, especially right now, while they're just trying to break out a spawn, just consider going Roadhog. Just hook him, bring him in, get yourself the free pick, because right now the coordination is just not there. They're able to get the better of them. Here's the high noon we see coming out from Sturban. Nano Boost as well is going to be booped off by Burns, once again showing his proficiency on the Wrecking Ball, as a shatter from Dagago is going to come out as he pins across. Nanoblade now to try and put a band-aid on the end of this fight. Ryan Amazing, he does find one, slash onto the Tracer, she's forced to back away. With that, it's going to be a very fragile win for the side of Kryix. This could be the last fight where they hold it this close.
You talked about the Diva, and I think in this composition right here, going up against a dive, Diva 9 times out of 10 is using that bomb defensively to the point where you're using it as a remech tool to make sure that you're still in the fight. You're rarely ever using it to throw it into the backline, because you know that a Winston and a Wrecking Ball are waiting to dive on you with 150 HP and no way out.
Yeah, Spike there, he gets put in an awkward position. He's desperately trying to get up. A little too short for the ride, but it was a nice play that they put the mines behind him so they couldn't back up their defenses, and it made an aggressive dive on the front half, and Spike kind of been the spearhead for his team here. Has always been diving aggressively, supporting his Wrecking Ball, supporting his Genji Blades, as well as the sticky grenades coming from Zia, showing his proficiency. He's been building these primal rages at incredible speeds. It's kind of going unnoticed here as we finally see some CC coming in the form of an Orisa Halt. This can do absolute devastation onto a dive if timed properly. So this is what I'd like to see, but once again, we talked about the defensive tanks. They're positioning so far back. Here's the ultimates coming out now as Burns tries to narrowly escape. We see the Genji and the Winston in the back. Trevstacks here on the Widow looking for a pick. Doesn't find anything, has to change his focus again. but the armor pack is going to keep him alive from now. Gets him down to one little SMG to finish him off, but while this is happening, Ryan Mason, he's going to find two in the back, looking for a third onto the fortified Orisa. Final blow melee, but they need to make their way onto the point as the overtime wick is going to be burning down. It's somehow still contested, though, as we look towards the point to see what's still going on. It's just the D.Va player, Darkside. He's got the D.Va bomb, but he needs to be a huge one. As he falls down, he's going to worry and not get hit by the mine. Somehow is able to recover, and Darkside on the D.Va's been holding through for his team. They just need to keep it going a little bit longer, as now we're burning into the overtime. They cannot afford to get off this for a second. That overtime wick has been going on way too long.
The one good thing about D.Va is that, you know, quote-unquote second life that you have with Baby D.Va. You throw the mech out for the bomb, you bring it back in. Nano Boost.
Big anti, though.
Big anti. Nano Boost put out already. Wolf over onto the Lucio, able to get two. Amazing with the dash through the Moira. It's a 3v5 fight right now. D.Va out of the mech right now. It is not looking good. You are going into a supercharger with two dive tanks and a Genji. Good luck. A great hold there from Kryix after what didn't look so hot first part of Rialto, to where Dogs Noodles had over 5 minutes to push that into point B, and they barely got halfway.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate event. I feel like Dogs Noodles, they're just a little too reluctant to swap. You know, obviously they have their strategies they practice with, and, you know, maybe they've had lots of success in their scrims and their practice, but you need to be able to adapt. You know, they're probably playing against a lot of double shield. Not a lot of teams are running the dive right now. Obviously, Kryix is, you know, maybe they figured, hey, we know that we're good at dive. Dogs Noodles, maybe they scouted them, saw their previous match, saw, hey, they like to play a lot of this. Dive works well against it. We'll just work on what our works. We've got a great Genji player in the form of Ryan Amazing. Azev's clearly very comfortable on the Echo, despite the hero being so new to Overwatch. But like I said, it's, you know, they just were too reluctant to swap. Had they had gone for the Orisa sooner, had they had gone for maybe the Sigma with the Accretion, although it's not the easiest stun to hit, or they could have gone for the Mei. We saw them try Sombra before. You know, they could obviously try it again. You know, if you're not gonna adapt to these dive by going to hard CC, then you got to try doing a dive of your own, because they were kind of in an awkward half comp. You know, the Ryan wants to do one thing, the D.Va wants to do another, and you know, they were always on the back foot.
I think just looking at the tank line, right? I don't get the D.Va with the Orisa. Like, if you're switching to Orisa, go Sigma. Like, even a Zarya is better. Like, bubble yourself.
Yeah,
and your
I think the
against
Ryan,
the dive.
you know, like, no one's just going to support the Ryan in this composition if you think about it, right? D.Va has a hard time supporting him. He can't be as aggressive as he wants to. He's basically a shield bot in this type of composition, hoping that Sturburn and Trevstacks pop off. But, you know, now he's playing on the high ground with the Reinhardt. We're watching with Ryan Amazing here. He's been very good at farming these blades. It's a nice boop there from Burns. He's going to shoot the tanks down onto the floor. This is exactly what they wanted from an opening here. It's basically going to be just a little bit of a poke war here. You obviously see that they're just trying to build up their ultimates, because that's the strongest thing that this team offers. Sturburn, nice there. He's going to check out the flank. He is able to shut down Ryan Amazing as Burns looks to wrap around and try and probably go for a boop setup from the back line to displace them. It's not very threatening right now, but they got to make sure that they don't lose their focus on Burns, because his boops have been quite incredible so far, always displacing the enemy team, making it very hard for them to work against, as Sturburn is kind of isolated here on the low ground, as both of his tanks have reset on the top.
So something we talked about was that Dogs Noodles was reluctant to switch. What I love is that Trevstacks, is on this Torbjorn, and what all Kryix has been doing, what they've been successful with, has been a dive. What is the best hero to combat a dive? It is Torbjorn. So great switch there. It's proven great so far.
Nice
great
sleep,
but not before Sturban was able to get a million. It was basically a trade out, but you'll take the kill onto the Ana while getting sleeped mid Deadeye.
Yeah, we're watching with CSAC here. Wasn't quite able to save his Reinhardt, but he's doing enough that the team looks like they're going to be able to stabilize here. Sturburn finds a nice little 3K on the tail end of it. His aim has been improving throughout the series. It was a little shaky when we were watching him on Oasis, but obviously he is one of these streaker heroes that is going to do better the more he plays. We saw him use a Heino in the last bit of that fight, and he's already halfway to his next one. This is going to look really good for the side of Dogs Noodles, but they've got going up against the trump card. They're going up against the Queen of Spades, the full full house, it's the Nano Blade, and that's what we're going to be watching through this next fight as it comes through. You see, Million is in a position to nano him now. Gets a nice sleep onto Darkseid as well. That's going to negate some of the disruption that they possibly have. Here it is as we go on to the Genji. He's going to already find Sturbert in the back, make that 2, make it 3 as he takes out the turret as well. Diva Bomb comes into defense. He's only going to find Azia, but he's able to get the Baby D before she can remech, and finds the God Doggo at the end as well. What is that, a little bit of a 4 or maybe a 5K? Great stuff from Amazing.
That was a 5K. Burns finishes off the team white there onto CSAC, who was just kind of hiding in the back, maybe just trying to touch last second to stall it out a little longer. But a great blade set up there. Amazing pops the blade while he was below half health, having so much trust in his Ana to make sure that, hey, she's going to be able to give me that nano when I ask for it. So a great combo there. It's not to mention as well, it was a nano-packed blade, which means those of you knew.
Oh god, it's like a double nano.
Yeah, so Genji has 50% damage less taken. Oh, and also he gets to have a 50 armor as well from an armor pack from Wolf.
Yeah, we saw C-Sec, he got a nice double kill nade there as the duplicate comes onto his E. He finds a nice quick double piece shatter. But Burns is making a lot happen on the point here as Trepstacks finds a few more. They are able to stabilize, as we're watching here with Sturban. He's built up another high noon. But they did invest a little bit to make that happen. As we saw his shatter come out, it wasn't able to win the fight. But, you know, we just were talking about a Nano Blade. We were barely finished our point, and look, they're already so close to having another one. And unless they hit the huge sleepers, the solo shatter, I don't know if they had anything to deal with it. They basically need to make sure they win every fight before it even starts and not give them an opportunity to get a good one off.
Yeah, they need to go. And Sturban, he could use this...
Amazing falls again.
Oh, no. I was like Sturban could use this Deadeye defensively going up against this Blade potentially. So that's something to where he could use that and really kind of stunt maybe what Amazing is trying to do.
Yeah, even if it forces the deflect, you can just wait it out, and even just having him deflect for the full 2-second duration is 2 seconds that he's not killing your entire team, so you'll take it. Here's the engagement now as Wolf pops the rally. They're crossing the bridge. As the shatter comes out from a God Doggo, looks like it's going to find just Burns right now as Wolf is going to fall as well. A few people gone from both sides now. It's going to be interesting to see if they invest anything, but the Nano Blade has come out, and he's already found 2!
He goes in, able to find 2. That's a great opener here. They're just around the corner right now, coming ever so closer here to capping this off.
Yeah, and with that, Kryix, you know, they've earned their sort of seat, making their way up 2-0, and you know, you can't be too disappointed because obviously, you know, as casters, we always want to see a long series, but really they've just been the better team this entire time. You know, Dogs Noodles, they've improved, definitely. And, you know, if this was maybe like a best of, I don't know, 11, maybe things would be different. But, you know, just being a first to 3, it doesn't look like Dogs' rate of improvement is fast enough to kind of compensate for how strong Kryix has started.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I just, you know, it looks so good for Dogs Noodles to start on that map, and it just crumbled and crumbled. They look great on their first defense there as well. A couple of team fight wins, but then that Nano Blade just broke it to pieces. And that's always the fight winner. When you run a Genji, if you can get that Nano Blade in, that's your fight winner. That's the time where you go and win. So we will be taking a quick break right now. Kryix up 2-0 at the half. They need one more map to take this series and to move on to the next round. Dogs Noodles backs against the wall. If they lose one more map, they are out of the tournament.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us for the Solstice Esports Solstice Showdown. We are in the losers bracket. It's the first match of the losers bracket, and of course, the loser of this match will be sent home. Zip, nada. See you later. First flight out of here. And it's looking like Dogs Noodles is in that uncomfortable position right now. Down 0-2 in the first of 3 series. We see their cute little icon there, and the lineup coming through. A God Doggo, Darkside Sturburn, Trev Stacks, Evo, CSAC, my babies, you need to perform. This is your moment.
Wow, that was so inspirational.
I've been
And then
watching a
on
little bit
this,
of anime, it's not gonna lie, so it's getting to me.
love it. And then on the side of Kryix, Burns, Spike, Azia, Rymazing, Neon, and Wolf, for those just joining us after halftime. Kryix up 2-0. This is a losers bracket game. The loser of this will be going home. We will head into a fan favorite hybrid Kings Row. That's going to be the next map. If Kryix is able to take this map 3-0, we move on. Winners bracket games start tomorrow. And if Kryix loses, well, we go to map 4 as Dogs Noodles continue to try and make this a series. So we see on the defense here, Kryix choosing to come out again with roughly the exact same composition they've been doing. The only differences are Rymazing on this Symmetra, but it looks like actually going to be switching off. Just wanted to teleport his tanks and his Echo to the opposite side so that the defense doesn't actually know, the offense doesn't actually know where they're setting up. So Rymazing going to switch back over onto this Genji. Wolf going to go back over onto the Brigitte. So it's the exact same composition there from Kryix.
It seems like maybe a little bit of overkill, but against teams that are really paying attention to those windows, it can be quite smart. And if they do hear the teleporter, they're going to be thinking they're going up against a sim, so that's going to completely psych them out. But Rymazing, he's been Rymazing on the Genji. It's been incredible. I'm hoping to see a lot more of him as this team looks to try and advance out of the losers bracket here, as we watch the tanks of the side of Dogs Noodles find this little bit of a stalemate, but they are going to teleport right to the point. This is probably their best plan of action here, as Burns aggresses in with a nice pile drive, but is immediately going to be frozen up and forced to use his shields to get away. Looks from the side of Dogs Noodles. They're trying to set up a nice defensive hold on the point here, but it's all on Burns to try and disrupt them. First tick has already gone through. It's a nice nade, though, from the side of Ayun, as everyone from the side of Kryix is trying to take this team apart, as he is already going to find 2. Spike on the Winston is zapping away at everybody, but a pin out of nowhere is going to take him out.
Back and forth fight here. It does look like it's favoring the defenders, but CSAC popped the coalescence here, trying to take Azia out of the sky. He does, but Trevstacks, what an icicle shot. My goodness. Another big nade over onto 2 from Dogs Noodles. The Blade already out, using it without the nano. Catches out 2. Make that 3.
4 for Rymazing.
Oh my god. Yeah, he popped that without the nano to start. Got 3 kills without the nano. Finishes off the Reinhardt with the nano. Oh, and he kills Evo on the Lucio to finish it all off. He built up that Blade so quickly. A Neon, great bio nades, great healing. What a save there. Dogs Noodles, man, they had that in the bag until Rymazing pulled that Blade out of his sheath and just sliced through them.
Yeah, but they can't afford to make any mistakes. They've already got 2 ticks now. It's gonna be much harder for the defense here as we watch Doggo make a little bit of a weird position. He needs to get himself out of it, not stagger, and he does so as well. Rymazing and Ayun, they've been doing great keeping up with each other. It's kind of like a little bit of a competition between the teammates. They got to make sure that they're in sync, and they are once again both about half right now. As Spike has his Primal Rage intact, it's going to be very good to help disrupt the point. Primal Rage particularly good against these 2 tanks up on Dogs Noodle's side, as they don't really have any way to react to it unless maybe we see a big shatter. But of course, Azia in the air is not going to be too bothered by that. Here we're watching Trev Stacks as he looks to lose the Blizzard. It's going to be right in the center of the point, trying to encapsulate anyone on it. As if they can just get their bodies on the point, they might be able to get the final take. This nice wall, it's going to deny the side of Neon, but he finds a nade before that happens. Spike with the desperation primal here tries to make something happen as the Flux has come out, still doing his best to keep the point alive as they're back into the corner. Now high noon from Sturburn is going to find 1 shatter as well as they retake their point from the side of Kryix. It's just Azia now in the sky on the Echo. He's used his focusing beam. That's a big part of his damage here. And now Spike, he's the last-ditch effort on the point. He knows that he's not going to last too long now. Not too bad. It only took them a few pushes, and they got 3.5 minutes to make the second phase happen. Dogs Noodles finding their second wind.
Good hold there from Kryix. He did a fantastic job. Able to use that Blade to, burn some more time off the clock. They now have another Nano Blade online. And as I was about to say this, I wish that Evo would play Brigitte. Man, he read my mind. Brigitte now into the pool here. Anian, though, does fall. That's going to hinder what they're going to be able to do. But on cart, I believe Burns is contesting Evo with this Wrecking Ball Brigitte matchup. The cart isn't being pushed because Burns is currently contesting that, trying to go up against a Brigitte. Now, resetting, trying to give his team a little more time to push in. The win condition here for them is the Nano Blade. The only thing to counteract it is C-Sac's Coalescence. Blade comes out, gets
nice
stunned
accretion
immediately, though. Doesn't matter, finds the Mei. Finds two with one slice. Both supports dead. Sigma falling extremely low. Azia able to get the double kill off the focusing beam. That's a team wipe there, led off the back of Amazing's Blade and Anian's Nano.
Yeah, you know, when the Genji buffs came to the live servers, people were thinking, there's no way that they're going to buff Genji in so many ways. They buffed all of his damage from his shurikens, buffed the versatility of his deflect, and when you think about Genji pre-buffs, he's basically just an ultimate bot, and his default form is really his weakness, but now that his default form has become so elevated, Genji's actually starting to become, for the first time in many seasons, a well-rounded DPS option here, as Amazing looking to be caught out by Sturburn, but is able to get away. Nice minefield from Burns is going to catch him out as he is distracted here. We watch the side of Darkside. He is stuck here in the bookstore, will eventually be taken down, and it's just a few more stragglers from the side of Kryix. Now, this is going to be a difficult part of the map to engage against. They have lots of different high grounds to work with. They have the Mega to play around as well for the Wrecking Ball, and Spike on the Winston as well if he can get away from it. 80% for another Blade for Amazing, but they have that Blizzard to work with. If they can catch out the Winston or Burns or even the Genji, this could be a big opening for them. But the positioning from the side, Kryix has been perfect. Look how spread out they are looking to pounce, and Wolf and Azia already have found two.
And then Azia over onto the duplicate now with the Reinhardt, but I don't even know if it was needed. Four
Definitely
already
not.
dead for the side of Dogs. Noodles make it 5. It's just back and forth here. Burns coming in with a triple kill with the pile driver, primary fire, and a punch right to the noggin there for Darkside. Yeah, that duplicate was not really needed, but at this point, you're going to have Primal Rage, mines again from Burns, and another Nano Blade. There's only 40 seconds left here for Dogs Noodles. If I'm Sturben, I am saving Deadeye for Amazing's Blade. That's the counteract here because C-Sac is not sleeping him.
Yeah, here is the high noon combo. Burns finds 3 with a big mine. He's looking to push people into the last few. He's really got a great feel for this Wrecking Ball. He's been playing so well the entire time, and you know, a lot of this has to do with the planning. You know, Wrecking Ball on his own is not always considered the strongest tank. He's easily punishable with a good focus, but his team has done such a good job at enabling him. The Winston bubbles coming out to make sure that he's shielded from stuns. Damage coming in from all angles as well. We're watching another Nano Blade come out from Amazing, but he's going to be shattered by the Nano. Ryan is able to recover for at least a few seconds as nice nade. He's going to go onto both of the tanks here. Nothing from the Blade right now, but overtime has been activated as Sturban finds one onto Amazing. Darkside has been forced onto the Wrecking Ball as he gets forced low with the purple, and look at this. They've pincered them from all sides in this blitzkrieg strategy here, and they're not able to focus their damage because they're always coming in from both sides. Kryix is really have a mastery of this dive, and that's why I said that this part of the map is so difficult to push into. They have so many high grounds to work with. They can attack you from the front. They can attack you from behind. They can use the high ground that we were just seeing at the top of the screen. They can use the high ground above the bar section of the map, and they can always hit you with this two-pronged attack, and you have nothing to work with when you're up against the wall.
I think something that we haven't really touched on is Burns' Wrecking Ball. You talked about it really quick. I think one of the biggest things that, at least I've seen, that maybe a lot of other Wrecking Balls aren't as good at, he seems to get value out of every single minefield. He doesn't use it to zone out or, you know, block off an entrance. No, he uses it aggressively, and we saw a triple kill with the mines, but almost every time he used his mines, he got at least one kill, and that is a huge ultimate there. If you're able to just get one kill with those mines and turn the fight in your favor by putting you up one player, I mean, it's just a fantastic job. We obviously see Amazing's Blades, and he's carried the team, but Burns has been playing extremely well on this Wrecking Ball. He's kind of gone a little unnoticed just because of everything that has happened here tonight. but Kryix set up in a great spot. They have to push it 1.5 points. I mean, they are set up in a great spot here. If I'm them, don't change a thing because clearly they have no answer for this Genji and no answer for this Wrecking Ball.
There isn't really many answers for Nano Genji. You used to use Trance as a defensive ult, but he can just slash through it. Sound Barrier is really not seen its day in a while, and Lucio is becoming less and less viable just compared to how much stronger Brigitte has been. So there's really no opening for anything against Nanoblade. You really just have to hope he doesn't get value, as Zia gets caught out there, is in a difficult position for too long. Nice Maywall is going to shut this fight down as Burns, our hero on the Wrecking Ball, tries to escape, is going to be shut down a little bit with the anti-nade. Looks like he's able to squeak his way through. He's trying to get behind him. Again, we saw this a lot on Rialto, where he tries to get behind and look to displace the tanks towards his team, but this time he is going to be caught out by the freeze, finished off by the dark side there.
I mean, if there's one way to stop a dive, especially with a good Genji and a good Wrecking Ball, it's just to go heavy CC. Accretion from Sigma, Stun from McCree, Freeze from Mei, Sleep Dart from Ana, and Shield Bash from Brig. The only person side of Dogs Noodles that doesn't have any CC ability is Reinhardt until he has Earth Shatter.
Exactly, there it is. Here's a nice sleep, though, you saw from the side of CSAC.
Two, though.
Shut down the Wrecking Ball as he went for the boot, but it wasn't enough, and 2 picks have gone through. Looks like he did enough damage, and we're watching as God Dago is just being pushed into the corner here. It's really quite difficult to watch. He didn't even go for the swings at first. He just tried to accept defeat, hiding in the corner, but there's no hide from the strength that Spike offers on the Winston. He's 80% to his ultimate already, but perhaps more impressive is Amazing and Anian. We've been hyping this duo up all series long. Has already got the Nanoblade, and they've got nothing. Well, they got the CC, like you said, but they don't have that pure defensive ultimate. Maybe they'll use the High Noon, like you said, defensively. Maybe they'll use the Blizzard, but Genji with his ult is so fast that it's quite hard to land anything.
You want to go really overkill with this blade? Armor-packed, nanoed, rallied blade. Let's give Genji that, right? Why
double
not?
Nano. The double nano. Coveted.
Gross.
That's
absolutely
why
gross.
Brig, she's seeing the PT
out now.
charge changes. Oh, as I say that, here comes the blade. He's already found 2. Make that 3 for his troubles, looking for the 4th onto the Reinhardt, and he's going to get it with no problems at all. Points currently being contested for a few seconds. It was a nice option by Trev Sachs. He knew it was going to add much to this fight, so at least he can buy his team a couple seconds. That could be the difference maker. 4 minutes remaining for the side of Kryix, but look, they're rolling it in. They want to get 3 on the point. They've only got 2 right now. Maybe that'll create an opening here. They didn't see any swaps. They didn't swap onto the Wrecking Ball. This could be a terrible mistake. Hard side. He's going to use the Gravitic Flux. Maybe he's going to touch in time. He does, but he's the only one on the point right now. A duplicate comes out. Both Reinhardts are going to hit each other and fall down as the Dago's used to Shatter, and it doesn't really connect it with much. He is able to block one, though, as he tries to back out, but it's not going to be enough as Zia on the duplicate finds the pick, and with that, our replay viewer is over. We know the result. It's going to be a clean 3-0 for the former Kryix. What an incredible match. I was trying to say before we saw that incredible blade is that the triple armor pack onto a tank or onto a DPS, it's like a baby nano. It's too strong. And it just keeps going, and it's so hard to deal with. And, they're experimenting with the experimental card of making it so that when Brig heals somebody that's full HP, they don't get the armor, which honestly feels kind of wonky because you get rid of that, I can give you some armor before the fight starts kind of utility, and now I guess you only get the armor if you find someone when they've already taken a little bit of damage. But it's just strange because then it's going to create a weird dynamic where maybe a player wants to take a little bit of poke damage before they get packed, and weird interactions. But clearly the Brig with the Ana onto a Genji is a combo that has no clear solution right now. And as long as teams are able to master this, I feel like those teams are going to really succeed, as we saw with Amazing and Nian today.
I mean, really, the hard counters to a Genji are Mei for the freeze, Winston because, well, Genji can't block anything Winston throws at him, and a Moira. Moira can only do so much damage. Winston can only do so much damage, and if Genji dives back into his team, well, if the Winston tries to dive against an Ana and a Brigitte, he's not going to be able to get anything done. There's a Sleep Dart, there's there's a Shield Bash waiting for him. So at this point, right, like, Genji is a lot stronger. There definitely is ways to counteract him. I would even argue that Doomfist can just be a soft counter to Genji,
Of
but
course, you could save the right click, try and stun him out of it. But we're watching the screen here. Kryix, our team that is going to move on to the series, once again applauding the people we're seeing up here. Burns been doing incredible stuff on the Wrecking Ball all series long. Spike on the Winston, incredible. Zia, he's been really taking control of the Echo. I know that any teams that watch this VOD are definitely going to be thinking about how they can counter him. And like we've been talking about all series long, is the combo, the Nano with Rymazing's Blade, so hard to deal with. And you know, these plates, they haven't been perfect. You know, they've been great, but you know, there definitely is room to counter. It's just going to take a really well coordinated team with incredible reflexes.
I completely agree. And you know, coming in as a 9 seed, right? They don't feel like they're a 9 seed, just an absolute stomping. Realistically, once they start, like the only time we saw them struggle was when they ran that Reinhardt composition on University on round 2 of Oasis. That's the only time that they struggled. Whenever they ran dive, they looked so strong and no one had an answer for them. So I'm interested to see what happens with them come the next round. And you know, when they go up against their next opponent, when their next game comes up, you know, how do they fare, and is their opposition already planning to go up against everything that a dive can be thrown at them?
Yeah, you know, this team, are they one note, or is this just what they brought to the table against Dogs Noodles, knowing that Dogs Noodles wouldn't be able to handle it? Dogs Noodles, like we were saying from the beginning, they're out. Sayonara, see you later. They got cut. We won't be seeing that cute little icon anymore of the animal that has to be a cat slurping the dog's noodles. I imagine that's like a little bit of a story. The cat stealing the dog's noodles. Maybe it's a dog, but I don't think dogs have green eyes, at least not in the world I know. See, you wouldn't want to be a dog's noodles. It was great having you here in the Solstice Showdown, but next time you're going to have to bring your A game because clearly it wasn't enough. Back to the drawing board. Thanks for coming out. Kryix been showing some new life. They will be moving on, and we are going to be looking to support them. We're looking at our bracket now for the Social Showdown in the beautiful colors that we have it here. As we see our quarterfinals being put together, definitely going to be looking forward to see some of these teams come to the plate. We've already seen Lunaris here, Chizzy and I, and we saw them doing so much strength. All these teams, though, have a lot to offer, all different personalities, different play styles, but everyone that's made it up to this point is indeed a powerful team. I don't think we're going to be seeing too many more 3-0s up until this point.
I don't think so either. And who Kryix will go up against next is going to be the loser of Lunaris going up against Disbanded. So stay tuned if you want to see, if you're a Kryix fan, you want to see who they're going to play next. It's going to be the loser of Disbanded against Lunaris. But the next matchup we have on deck for you guys and everyone out there, Region versus Cloak, will be happening tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, followed by the 5 seed against the 4 seed, Hour Zero against Propel. And then taking the weekend off, going on to Monday, Nocturnal against Dub Nation will be June 29th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 11 Dub Nation upset with the 3-0, the number 1 seed. And also this weekend, don't go anywhere. There won't be any games, but there is going to be a featured Widow 1v1 and a 3v3 lockout. The Widow 1v1 will be happening on Saturday, and the 3v3 lockout will be happening on Sunday. Stay tuned for each of those, 8 p.m. Eastern for both of those. Mark your calendars. Stay tuned. Get ready for some awesome and fun stuff this weekend. But first, we have the first matchups of our quarterfinals in the winners bracket, Region versus Cloak and Hour Zero versus Propel, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, respectively. I have been Chizzy Fizzy. Joining me is Eden Ocean. This has been the Solstice Esports Solstice Showdown. We will see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern for number 1 seed Region up against number 8 seed Cloak.
You don't want to miss it when we come back. Solstice Showdown! Solstice Esports presents. We'll see you tomorrow.